Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yasodhanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yasodhanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yasodhanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yasodhanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Ye Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Ye Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yasodhanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yasodhanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jam Vishnupat Brahmamsa Parivrajaka Acharya Ashtottara Sadasya Srimad J.C. Buying Gracious Confound Acharya Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada Ki Anantagari Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Nitai Gaura Premanande.
We're going to see how far this gets. I seem to have blown out my voice. But it was a worthy cause yesterday. I have no complaints. But I hope it recovers by the initiation tonight, so we'll see how that goes. It was always cold here in the mornings. Now it's too hot. Just can't get the right spot. That's a new poem for you. Been too cold, now it's too hot, just can't seem to get to that right spot. No, I'm just... But we'll see how we do here. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Krishna Sudamo Bhagate Gitamirganadi Bisaha Kaladasad Shamesha Parano Ko Nadodata Narayana Namaskritya Naram Charam. You better do it, Dravida. I don't know how far I'm going to get.
Narayanam Namaskritya.
Just do it the way I do it.
We got the next line.
Narayana Namaskrityam Naram Chaivam Darotama Devim Sarasatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayat. I bet that's the only time you ever forgot a line. I can't imagine such a thing. Everything is odd today. Narayana Namaskrityam Naram Chaivam Darotama Devim Sarasatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayat. I wouldn't be doing this, but I actually have something I want to say. The Bhagavatam is burned as a sun that is arisen just after the departure of Lord Krishna to his own abode, accompanied with knowledge, religion, etc. Persons who have lost their vision through the dense darkness of the age of Kali shall get light out of this Purana. Before beginning our study of the Srimad Bhagavatam, we should first offer respects to the personality of God in Narayan, the Narayana Rishi, the supermost human being, the goddess of learning, Mother Saraswati, the author, Srila Vyasadeva, and my spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada. We're going to need a little more volume because I'm below my normal, whatever it is. So that will be helpful. But Dravida, you can do the verse, right? Because it's just, yeah, and it's just text.
Kvachicha duksahena kayabhyantada bahina grihita sara sakundumbaya kudyati. It's 19.
Chapter 5, Canto 5, Chapter 14, text 19?
19.
Yeah. And we're still in the forest of material enjoyment, literally and figuratively. Thanks, Govardhan. If you don't mind, and the purport.
I don't know what you turned up, but everything is turned up.
All right, then.
No, I can do it. Sometimes, due to bodily hunger and thirst, the conditioned soul becomes so disturbed that he loses his patience and becomes angry with his own beloved sons, daughters, and wife. Thus, being unkind to them, he suffers all the more. Purport. Srila Vidyapati Thakur has sung, Tatala Saikate Vadi Bindu Samo Sutamita Ramani Samaje. The happiness of family life is compared to a drop of water in the desert. No one can be happy in family life. According to the Vedic civilization, one cannot give up the responsibilities of family life. But today, everyone is giving up family life by divorce. This is due to the miserable condition experienced in the family. Sometimes, due to misery, one becomes very hardened toward his affectionate sons, daughters, and wife. This is but part of the blazing fire of the forest of material life.
Om Ganata Ramada Taranandasya Gena Salakaya Jagshu Simadajangena Tasmadishi Gurave Namaha. Can we shut the heater off? Is that possible? And actually it's a beautiful day outside. It's all clean by the fresh first off by the kirtan in Laguna Beach, and then also by the ether is very purified, and after the rain, if we could crack that open just, a couple inches, that's good, that's good. Just put that thing down there, because it's a very beautiful day. People fly thousands and thousands of miles for these San Diego sea breezes. Prabhupada, just like we were driving up to Laguna Beach yesterday, and there's a lot of traffic going up. There's also a lot of traffic going down. Where are they all going? Everyone in San Diego is thinking, everyone coming down is thinking, I'm getting out of LA. I'm going to San Diego for some happiness. And everyone in San Diego is thinking, I'm bored stiff here. I'm going up to LA. It's interesting, isn't it? You wonder just, that's material life. So, just a few points in the beginning. This just is thank you. This impatience and intolerance, because that's what Prabhupada's talking about. It causes so much grief. I was thinking even the Bhagavatam, of course it's Leela, but you've got Maharaj Parikshit, overwhelmed by thirst, But if you think about it, just like when you're a kid, they say count to 10, before you, if you're starting to lose your temper. But just the ability for, people are impatient, people are agitated, people are intolerant, and you think about it, we do so many stupid things that we regret, just like it describes here in the purport. You say unkind words that you regret later on. And so it's just one more, we're pounding on, like, you see the movies. Well, let's say it this way. You've got the Lama. I don't know. We'd have to ask the devotees in Utah where they have Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Lama. They actually have lamas there. But supposedly you can load them up to a certain point. I guess different animals have different and at that point, you go one chickpea above that, and they sit down. That's it. So, chickpea, straw, whatever. Insignificant mite you want to measure by. So one of the points of this section it's just of the forest of material enjoyment. It's just pounding home the same message. What that message is, we'll get to in a moment. And it's coming at us from every single angle. You can try it left, you can try it right, you can turn it upside down, you can put it on its edge. But it's the same thing, and this is just one more. So an aspect of that frustration, there it is, this frustration with the material world, is just another aspect of it. And it says, we lose our temper, we become impatient, we say something unkind or unintended, misunderstood, said in anger. What is it? Act in haste, lament in leisure, is the old saying. So we suffer even more. So just one more. There comes that point, like, what do they say? The straw that broke the camel's back. There comes a point they pile on, this way we're frustrated, this way we're frustrated, this way, and perhaps there's a point that our determined conviction, in spite of all odds, to be the one who's happy in this world, perhaps that determination will finally cave in. That's what this section in Bhagavatam, amongst so many other things, it's trying to bring us to that point. It talks about family life. Now I'm dressed in saffron. I could pound on the family life, but I'll say it in a different way. And Prabhupada would say it this way. If there is any happiness in this world, like fine, the example given in the purport is a drop of water in the desert. Well, can anyone discount that it's water? In the desert, aren't you looking for relief via water? Anyone want to quibble that point with me? Okay. We want water. Can anyone doubt that a drop of water is water? Anyone want to argue that one with me? All righty. So you're lying out there in the desert, the Gobi Desert or whatever it may be, Sahara, there's so many. We've got right here our own Death Valley, which is a clear indicator. So you're there out in Death Valley or whatever it is. And I got water for you. Dimitri, don't worry. I've finally come. There's parched Dimitri. Took a wrong turn in Tucson or whatever, you know. And I've got a little eyedropper, and I put a drop of water in your mouth. Do you say, oh, thank you, Swamiji. You have solved my problem. Yeah, he says, thanks a lot. You know, it doesn't do any good at all. So, okay, we're not going to argue with you, but there's happiness in this material world. But it's a drop of water in the desert. And Prabhupada says, if there is any happiness, it's in family life. And then Prabhupada says, there is any happiness in family life, it's in India. And he's talking in, the actual Vedic culture, where you've got a responsible husband and a devoted wife and children that listen, and you know culture, and there is some happiness. But it's not going to do the job. That's our point. So and in the Bhagavatam, another example, anyone know from the light of the Bhagavad, there is an example about household life. And it's talking about a crane, a stork or a crane. But there's a type of, I don't know if storks are also in the water, but crane, is it? Okay, it's fine. So you've got your picture in your mind of a stork. Now, what is the stork standing in the water for? Anyone know? Next question, other than Dravida Prabhu, who's already got enough points and won the game. He has to, and in the light of the Bhagavatam, what does it describe? Is the stork just, like shooting fish in a barrel? Wham, 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 wham. How's it going for that stork? In the light of the Bhagavad, anybody know? Is she having a great time? Is it easy? It's cold water. There's rocks. The river's flowing by. It's a stream. It's got to be shallow enough that he can see the fish. So there's all kinds of pebbles. He's hitting his skinny little legs. He's standing in the cold water. And when he gets home, his wife's going to say, "What? You only got 2 fish? What's wrong with you? I should have married the guy next in the nest next door, So he gets harassed left and right. And only occasionally does he get a fish. So Prabhupada says that family life is like that, and material life is like, when you ratio it out, it's just not, the risk-benefit return rate. You don't need to go to Walton Business School for Wharton for that one, Just doesn't stack up. So, and I was thinking, I had 2 Laguna meditations that Govardhan and I were talking on the way up, driving up to Laguna Beach. Now, believe it or not, you ask me, it's not much to write home about, but Laguna is considered a very nice resort spot, assuming you got the bucks. But you see the people. It was a beautiful morning yesterday. It wasn't too hot, wasn't too cold. Sun was coming out. Saw people say Saturday morning, and you see them sitting in all the little coffee shops, and they got their little cup of espresso and some little, don't ask how much they paid for it. You got some little pastry thing there, and all is right in the world. And you drive by those cafes, whatever, they're sitting out there in the sun. But what are they actually thinking? Anyone? They're thinking, in addition to watching anyway, they're thinking, for just a moment, no one's harassing me. That's what they're actually enjoying. Just for a moment. It's not going to last long. But just for a moment, my mind is at peace. Just for a moment. I got the Saturday paper. Don't look at the stock page. Because all, went up, it went down, it crashed. Don't look, stay below the fold. You don't want to see what's on top page of the latest scandal. So some other people are miserable. And even then, really, you don't even want to look at the newspaper. You want to look at the view and look at the waves. So somebody said to Srila Prabhupada, but they're so opulent in the West. Prabhupada says, what is that opulence? They don't even have the opulence of a moment's peace. So what is that happiness? The happiness means at least for a minute, my head isn't in a vice and somebody's cranking it. Is that really happiness? The guy's coming back. What's the old joke? What, you see the guy banging his head on the wall? And you ask him, how come you're banging your head on the wall? Anyone know the answer? It's an old joke. Guy's banging his head on the wall. His friend says, why in the world are you banging your head on the wall? Anyone know the answer? You guys don't know the answer? Jeez. Because it feels so good when I stop. I mean, you just have a little bit of relief. So that's one Laguna meditation. They're not really happy. They're just waiting for the wrecking ball to come through the window. But they're thinking, not today, not now. Old age, disease, death. Go home and find out my wife changed the locks and ran off with the dentist. Which happened to Mr. Burns, lived down the street from me when I was a kid. Came home from work, wife had changed all the locks, cleaned out the house, and cleaned out the accounts, and ran off with her dentist. So at least for a minute. That's not happiness. So another Laguna meditation I was thinking of. Of course, you have to know this scene. But, okay, everybody wants, materially, they want to get to the West. And really, okay, London, but if they could get to LA, if they could get to the US, I'm born in America. Well, at least I got a green card. I'm born in America. Okay, big deal. But you could be in Omaha. I mean, no offense. Let's pick it. It could be Cleveland. You know Cleveland? It's called Mistake by the Lake. It's by Lake Ohio. Caught on fire. They call it Leaveland. It's I hope I didn't offend. There's many nice people in Cleveland, don't I guess? I'm sure there's very good things going on in Cleveland. I just can't think of them. So, okay, good. I made it to the USA. Well, you can always say, hey, I'm in California, isn't it? Hey, I'm from California. With the sun's always shining and all, But you could be in Northern California, right? I'm in San Francisco, okay, but the rest. I'm in Southern California. Well, okay, you could be in Southern California, but you could be in Fresno. That's not really Southern. Barstow. You could be, it doesn't really hit it. I got to be by the ocean. So I got to be in the USA. Got to be in California. Got to be by the ocean. Southern California, got to be by the ocean. But you could be in Torrance. And see how many people I can offend in one analogy. I mean, what is that? What is that? Wilmington, where they've got the huge refinery. Smells like No, we've got some nice devotees who've actually come from Wilmington. You got nowhere to go but up. So you can be by the ocean, but you can be in Southern California by the ocean, but you could be in Wilmington. So you got to be in Laguna Beach. All right, now we made it. Now I'm by the ocean. I was raised in Laguna Beach. There's Laguna, but then there's North Laguna and South Laguna. Not downtown. No, you want to be north or south. And of north or south, you got to be in South Laguna. And in South Laguna, you got to be in Three Arch Bay. That's a private spot. But in Three Arch Bay, there's upper and there's lower. Upper, I swear to you, the coast highways there, upper, lower, you're closer to the beach. You know, it's much more expensive. You can say, I live in Three Arch. They'll say upper or lower. Okay, fine. I live in lower. But what street are you on? I'm on Vista Street. I'm on Seacrest. I swear to you, I've had conversations even when I was a kid growing up. Seacrest is, it's on the edge, and then you can see the ocean, and it's right at the beach. You can hear the waves. Okay? Well, now I made it. What did Prabhupada say about planet Earth? Prabhupada said the demigods won't even come and pass urine on this place. Well, who cares about planet Earth? The whole place is insignificant. Well, okay. I'm on Indraloka. Well, I'm on Siddhaloka. And so it goes. You're never peaceful. You're never satisfied. It isn't happening here. So the point, I did want to make a point that the Bhagavatam is giving us, I mean, if you think about it, it's a great, you can hear that great grinding wheel of the material nature just crushing everything. And even my last hope, maybe in family life or maybe in, and the Bhagavatam just, there was a famous book by Jack London. What is that book? It's somebody here knows it, but In the Wilderness or something. And it's just one of the most bitter, it's a long story, but the guy finally, he's trapped out in the woods and everything goes wrong. Everything, and he's freezing to death. And finally, everything he tries to get his chariot or his cart back together, and the wheel falls off. He tries to feed his horse, and horse takes off, and tries to get this and that. Tries to crack open the ice to get some water, and his, one rock he could find fall. Finally, he gets a little fire going. He managed to scrape together a little bit of dry wood and, chipping flint on his teeth. Finally got a spark, got the thing going, and he gets a little fire going. And he's under a tree, and I swear to you, and it melts the snow, and whoomp, and his fire goes out. He's got no. That's it, man. It's over. So you could think of the Bhagavatam. It's pretty heavy. Everything, you try to get a little fire going here. At least got my wife, I got my kids, or got a little money in the bank, or hey, I'm in the mode of goodness. I don't eat meat. Hey man, I don't eat meat. Or whatever it is. Sorry, all you're doing is, it's just gonna whoomp, and it's all gonna go out. So I mean, is that where the Bhagavatam leaves us? What is the by Blake, I love this line, I've repeated, I'm going to repeat it again. And he's talking about the priests, Christian priests. And he says, men in black muttering, no, don't do this, can't do that, it's all, What is it, the other guy, is it Hobbes? Who says, what is it, brief, nasty, brutish, and short life. That's his description of life. I mean, I wouldn't want to sit at a party next to him to talk about a killjoy. He's really not going to get too far with that guy. So, Indradumna Maharaj told me that yesterday, one of my heroes and great friends, he told me that every now and then he'll listen to a class that I give, because he wants to hear a new joke. So I promised him I would tell him a joke today. So this is a shout out to one of my heroes, Indradumna Swami. But it's not gratuitous. It actually fits in the thing. So the joke goes like this. I'm trying to remember how it goes. And the point is that, you religious or spiritual people, you're all about renunciation and dry and grit your teeth and bear it and you get through it. And, maybe there's a God, maybe not. You never know. And if you didn't, dot all the T's and, dot all the I's and cross all the T's, you're going to burn in the lake of fire because you just didn't quite do that right. Ah, jeez, It's like a real lottery. It's like a real crapshoot, You try to enjoy it, you can't enjoy it. You try to be pious, and maybe you didn't make it all the way, or, jeez, might as well just, can't commit suicide. The hardest tell me I'll come back. So, there's no way out of this thing. So the joke, because I promised to do a joke, that's the theme that, the picture you're painting is bleak. So there's a monk, and they've just found these old catacombs, these old libraries underneath the Vatican. And they've got texts, Essene text, that are from not obscene, Essene texts of the, the original disciples. And the guy's studying and studying and studying, and he's an Aramaic scholar and a Greek scholar, and they're waiting for him to, what's he going to find? And all of a sudden you hear this, "No!" echoes out from the depths. And he comes out and he says, and they're Catholic. So he says, it says, it's not celibate, it's celebrate. Some scribe somewhere, maybe he was dyslexic, I don't know, transposed the letters. And here we've been gritting and bearing it, celibate priests. So no wonder we're bitter and ticked off and no joy. Of course, it's wrong. So sometimes the Bhagavatam, it can appear to, So let me ask you this. This is everything I've said so far. And what's the time? Okay, we're all right. Everything I've said to this point has been to ask this question. Okay? This is the whole point, was a setup for this question. Oh, I forgot the question. No, I remember. Bhagavatam states, and throughout the Vedic literatures, like Atato Brahma Jigyasya, it's one of those aphorisms. It's like, bam! Who is qualified to find a bona fide spiritual master? What is the qualification required? Is it Sanskrit, as some will say? You've got Guru Shastra Sadhu, but actually it's Shastra and you got to know Sanskrit. Otherwise you can't understand Guru and Shastra properly. So, I know you know. Anybody else want to stew for a minute? What is the qualification? Okay, you could say sincerity. All righty. You could say humility. Okay. We'll get to Shraddha in a moment. But even before Shraddha, Balaram. Following is good. But that's, okay, let me say, we're in the negative. We're washing around in the negative. And here's the positive. Based, as I gave a hint, the setup for this class to date, or this morning. So what is the... Get to know what a spiritual master is. Okay, but you have to be frustrated. You have to be sufficiently frustrated. When does Bhagavad Gita get rolling? Yeah, but why does he surrender? Huh? Because he says, I turn left, I turn right, I stand still. I win, and I have to kill all. Who will I enjoy with? I lose. Everyone's going to call me a coward. For one has been honored, dishonored, in or out, don't hover, because it distracts everybody. Sorry, but it's a fact. So the point is to become frustrated. That's this whole world. So Krishna is cruel. Here's the point I was getting to. So why? God is cruel and evil, like Jonah and the whale. Wants to, squeeze out some, yes, I love you, God, save me. Isn't that a test between the devil? The devil said to God, I think that's Jonah and the whale. Yeah, well, the point is, we're a little bit afield now, but the point is that God says to the devil, see how faithful my Jonah is. The devil said, it's only because you're buttering his toast. Put him in some difficulty and see how much he loves you. And that's, and Jonah just goes through, it's a whole thing, So is God just, to show us, somebody else that we're actual devoted? Because it sucks. Where is God? Why didn't he just clean this whole thing up? And, why is it so frustrating? These are intelligent questions. Okay, I guess I'll let the cat out of the bag. When Indradyumna Maharaj was leading Kirtan yesterday, and I hope he's still on for this part. When Indradyumna Maharaj was leading Kirtan, there just comes a point, like a rocket ship when it's taken off. And there comes a point that, all the boosters fall off, everything, and it's just the holy name. And you just open your heart and it's just Hare Krishna. And I heard him say it several times while he was chanting. He kept saying, this is it. This is it. Did you guys hear it? A couple times he said, this is it. In other words, this is the nectar for which we're always anxious. This is it. It's there where the whole purpose, God is not cruel. God is not unkind. There's the famous saying, we've found the enemy, and the enemy is, other than Dravida? I was too slow. I should have said it faster. I bet teachers had fun with you. When teachers used to put me in the back of the class so I wouldn't answer everything. Did they put you in the back of the class? So the point is that we have found the enemy, and the enemy is us. We are just determined. There's so many examples in the Bhagavatam, and the classic is, you've got the cow, you've chewed the sugar cane, there's no juice left, and you spit it out, there's nothing left. And that cow comes and, maybe there's a little corner, you didn't get something out of it. We're like that, lifetime after lifetime. In every form, in every body, in South Laguna, North Laguna, on Seacrest Drive, we're trying it left and right, and it's just not there. And that's Krishna's arrangement, because if we don't become frustrated, we are so determined, the enemy is us. If we don't come to the point of Arjuna, I'm done. I don't know whether to turn left or right, but nothing around me is going to hit it. And then you have the Vaishnava saying sweetly, over here, this is it, right here. It's the holy name. It's service of the Vaishnavas. It's understanding your spirit soul. It's developing your relationship with Krishna. It's going back to Godhead. That's it. So Krishna's not cruel. He's not designed a bizarre world. It's not sadistical. Who's the enemy other than Dravida? Us. Our determination to try to find something we can squeeze something out of. What's the time? No. My grandfather had a type of cancer that started at the tip of his spine, and gradually he couldn't walk. Ultimately, he had to get one of those bags. There's so many indignities in life. Shoot me if it ever gets to that point. Just put me out of and everyone around me out of my misery. So many. So everything was going out. I said, Gramps, how's it going? Plumbing went out. You know, you had a little bag. Oh, it's just so many things, you know. And finally, couldn't hear, couldn't see, couldn't eat anything, just miserable. And he would sit in a chair, his lazy boy chair, half gone boy, 90% gone boy, and he had a little bowl of hard candies. You know, little, I don't know, like lifesavers or what, you know, little hard candies. Classic 5 flavors. And he'd put one on his tongue and it would dissolve. And I used to joke with him. I said, Gramps, what is it? He'd say, cherry. Cherry. He'd say, give me a lime. Give me a lime. I'd look around for a green one. I'd try and it'd be... I was thinking, even as a kid, I mean, give it up. Well, what's he got left? There's no sex. Well, he's got a few fibers are still firing in his tongue, and he's trying to... Maybe there's a drop will come out. So, no, it's us. And Krishna gradually dries everything up. And the saintly, kind Vaishnavas say, this is it. It's right here. It's open for everyone. You don't need any qualification. This is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. You don't need any qualification. You don't need to do. You just need to open your mouth. Even you don't want to chant. If you're at a festival with devotees and you open your mouth, what's going to happen? You can't. I refuse to chant. Can't. But I got my mouth open. What's going to happen? Tuo's going to put some prasadam in that mouth. No question about it. All you got to do is swallow. Bloop. What'd that take, you know? So we'll end there, but Krishna's not cruel. The material world is not designed to frustrate, it's not sadistical. But we should wake up to the fact that it is a cruel, crushing machine. It's a fire. When there's a fire, nothing can stop it. When the ocean comes, nothing can stop it. So what's the intelligent thing to do? Listen to Indradyumna Swami and the Vaishnavas who say, it's right here. This is it. Okay, we'll end there. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you. No, everybody's so happy that we're ending. I hate to. We'll let it go. Hare Krishna. It's just our one friend, right? Yeah, all right. We'll move on. Tell him I'm sorry, but he'll have another question tomorrow, and I'm not worried about it. Go over, Don.